Hi guys, it's Dakota. I hope everybody's doing well. So today I'm going to talk about Witches Burrs, also called Witches Balls. It's also called like the Devil's Spike or Devil's Sting, something like that. And they come from their pods, seed pods, that come from the sweet gum tree. And this is what they look like. They're very thorny. And if you step on one, sorry, that one had a little bit of wax on it. Um, they're very thorny. And if you step on one, you will know it. It will be stuck into your foot. So uh, we have tons of them here in North Carolina. And here at the farm, I've got tons of them. I love working with them. And it may be one of the reasons is because I can just go outside and grab some when I need to do something. And so that leads me to this. It's not always, I don't always have something going on, like, oh, I need to do a spell for this, or I need to add this to my, I want to craft something. I mean, I sometimes I just feel like I want to do something, something creative and fun. And so all I have to do is go outside and get it and then use, my creativity and my inspiration, whatever it is that I want to do. Sometimes I make them and I just give them as gifts to people if they're having a hard time, or just as a token, like I didn't have anything to do this weekend. And so I made some witch balls, and this one's for this and this one's for that. Now, the sweet gum tree, it is originally it was part of the they had it listed as part of the, I don't know, it's a big long word, but it part of the witch hazel family. And then they realized that it really had no resemblance whatsoever to witch hazel. um, it is, the sweet gum tree has resin. So in other words, if you scratch the bark or if it gets a wound in the bark, it bleeds, and it bleeds out this sticky substance, which is resin. And it has a really kind of a sweet aromatic flavor to it, or scent to it. I'm sorry, not flavor, but scent. And the witch hazel tree does not. It doesn't have resin like that. And also and this is kind of creepy, but the sweet gum tree is pollinated by the wind. Now I think that's lovely. I love that. It's pollinated by the wind. But the witch hazel, on the other hand, and if you use witch hazel, I know exactly what your facial look's gonna be like. It's pollinated by flies. So, yeah, I know, kind of creepy. Like, and I use witch hazel a lot. I use it for everything. In fact, here's some TMI for you. I actually detoxed from using deodorant about 3 years ago, and I only use witch hazel now. And it is absolutely phenomenal, amazing, super amazing. I cannot stand deodorant. I don't like the smell of it, for one, and I don't like all the chemicals that are in it, for two. And I wanted something that was natural, but I was kind of leery. I mean, because I'm really, really sensitive to smells, and I do not like body odor that comes from underneath the arms. And so, but I tried it, and I said, well, let me try it. I had a friend that um, had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and she passed away a couple years ago. But she was, on the bandwagon about doing everything natural and stuff. So I thought, well, I'll try it, and it's probably not going to work for me because I don't want to have, I don't want to smell. And I'm going to say that because I did it slow. I did a slow process. I couldn't just not use a deodorant, but I eventually switched, and that is all I use now. And I don't even you don't even use it every day. I mean, it's like every other day. It just witch hazel kills the bacteria, and that's what causes smell. That's what causes body smell. So, or underarm smell for sure. So, yeah. So there you go. Now you know something about me. TMI. I know. Anyway, okay, so the sweet gum tree is what they did was they came up with its own little family, I guess. So like the witch hazel belongs to the such and such family. It's a real long word that I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to try. And the sweet gum tree now has its own little family, and it's called liquid amber. And that's exactly, I mean, that's what it looks like. It comes out of the tree, out of a wound in the tree, and it's golden and it smells good. And when you let that harden, it becomes resin. And you can actually then use that on your charcoal bricks for resin, for incense. That's what it is. And it's called it's called the sweet gum tree, another name for it is called the American styrax tree. Now, I'm not going to get into with you today, but there is also a resin out there called storax and also benzoin. And those three are very similar, and it causes some confusion, I think. And so, but just so you understand, there's styrax, storax, and benzoin. And again, they're all delicious in their own way. But the sweet gum tree is storax, not styrax. That's a different family of trees. Okay, a little more rare than the storax. I think I had that right. Yeah, storax. Okay. Now, originally, the sweet gum ball tree, or the witches balls, or witches burrs, whatever you'd like to call them, I think traditionally comes from the hoodoo line, the practice of hoodoo, and they would use them in their practice for magical amulets, tools, etc. And um, and I just want to make it clear that I am not um, extremely educated on the hoodoo tradition, and and this is American hoodoo, and even some of the African American traditions and practices and religions. I think there are a few that use the witches' balls, and they might call them something different. So this is a no, this is not a takeaway from them, or, in any sense, trying to say that, because it's called witch's ball. So it's kind of, there's that fine line, and maybe that is what they call them. I don't know, but I certainly don't mean any disrespect. It's what I've researched and it's what I've found. And so, not knowing exactly their tradition and how they practice, even with the witches burrs, I use it just out of my own creativity and just for inspiration. I think it's a really cool thing. One thing is the witches balls have, and see there I'm interchanging the words, they, as far as magical properties go, I mean, it's anything from A to Z. They're good for everything: prosperity, protection, removing hexes and hexing, for love. Um, Someone's, bad mouthing you, yapping about you, gossiping about you, uh, lying about you, whatever. It's good for that. I've heard it's good for fertility, because after all, it is a pod that contains the seed, which is inside of this. The little those are like little spiky thorns, and so obviously you can't go barefoot around them, or they'll be sticking all up in your feet, and they hurt. They hurt. But So it's good for fertility because inside of there is the seed. And so the little spurs protect the seed. So, if squirrels or birds or whatever, um, it protects the seed. So it's really, really excellent for protection. But because it holds a seed, then it is also good for fertility spells as well. So, I mean, there's a whole gamut of things you can do with the witch's balls. Now, I think that the main, at least for me, um, protection is what I hear most about with them. Um, and Now, I don't know if they still do it today. They probably still do. But I know that they dress them. We dress them. I dress mine just like I dress my candles with oil and herbs, etc. And then the story goes that if someone was negative to you or you were trying to remove that person from your life, you just kind of toss them in their path. For love, if you're trying to draw somebody towards you, you would dress that with all the love stuff and then toss it in the path of the person that you're trying to draw to you. So I just think they're really, really magical, and I think they're just um, I think that the creativity and the magical uses are just never ending. It's never ending. I call them spirit bags. For this particular thing, I call it a spirit bag, but it would be much like a mojo bag or a gree bag. I have used the pods in their whole, and I've also ground them up in the in the mortar pestle, ground it up, and put the powder in the little pouch. One of the most interesting things that I did once was, a crystal grid where you have your generator in the middle, and then you have your other stones facing in or facing out, depending on what it is that you're trying to create. If you're trying to draw in love, maybe at that point you would put your witch's burr, maybe in the middle of your grid and have the stones coming into it. If you're trying to, get pregnant or trying to increase fertility, using the pods is a great way to do that, or protection, anything. But one of the things that I did with them at one point was much like our stones that we use for protection: obsidian, hematite, gold, tiger's eye, your stones that are good for protection. You can go around your property, or you can go around your house, the outside of your house, the corners of your property, the corners of your house. You can even grid inside your house in the corners of each of your room, or let's just say the problem is in the bedroom or the fighting always happens in the kitchen. You can just grid the kitchen, which means putting a stone in each of the corners. Well, in this case, we gridded with the witches with the with the witches burrs, and we put those in the corners of the room. And so that was kind of fun, and that was kind of a neat thing. Of course, we did things to the burr. We dressed it, etc., for the intention. So that was kind of a neat thing. Now, one of the things that let me use this real quick. Okay, so they also enhance your magic. So if you're doing spell work, or you're doing a healing, or even if you're trying to do shadow work, or you're trying to do a journey, anything that you're doing, you can place them on your altar. You can put them in a jar, this is kind of big, but I do have a jar this size in the house filled with them. So why do I collect more? Because I like I love the little stems. Look how cute this one is. Look, isn't it cute? So yeah, I pick them sometimes based on their stems. They look like little cherries. And so, uh, yeah, so you can use them to enhance whatever it is that you're doing, enhance your magic. Now, let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do, I wanted to show you this, and I'm going to, oh, here it is. I was looking for my parchment paper so I don't get wax everywhere. Oh, she said wax. There must be fire. Yes. Let me put the camera down here. And I'm kind of going fast because I want to make sure that I get this all in. So one of the things that I get asked a lot about is love. And so I thought what I would do real quickly is show you how I would do this for love. Now, let me grab my mortar pestle. Man, this thing is so heavy. It's marble. It's really heavy. All right, so I'm using, we're going to use some colt's foot. And what colt's foot is for love, and it's also for peace and tranquility. But it is for love. And I'm just going to put one little scoop in there. And so that's what that's for. And then what I'm going to use is lemon balm. Who doesn't have lemon balm? And what lemon balm is good for in your spells is what it does is it helps to ensure the success of what it is that you're doing. So we're going to let's grind this up. I'm going to put you on pause real quick. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to dress it just like you would a candle. So since this is for love, to attract love, or maybe it's self-love, I'm just going to say it's for love. And I'm not making this for any particular person. I'm just making it to show you. And like I said, love is one of the most requested things that I get. People wanting things done. Love and protection and prosperity. Those are the three things, the three main things. So what I'm going to do is I have here this is love drawing oil. I don't have my little dropper, which probably would help, but I'm going to use my little shish kebab stick. It's pointed on one end and flat on the other. I mean, you can get a whole package at the dollar store. So what I'm just going to do is dip it, and inside the pods, I showed you, you can kind of see the little holes. See how it's got like little holes? Well, they're just little caverns. They're not really holes. But that's what I'm doing is I'm just dressing. I'm just dressing the pod by dropping a few little drops of oil inside of those little holes. Now, when you do this, start at the top, up by the stem. You're only going to do the top half first, and I'll show you why. Let me just get a few more drops of the oil in. And I'll put 2 more little drops, and then that should be good in here. All right. Put the lid on so I don't spill. All right, so I've got the oil in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it down. Now, whoops, don't fall down, stay there. I have chosen a white candle just because it's sort of a working candle for me today. I'm going to light it. And what I'm going to do is, I didn't want to do that in my mortar. I'll do it over here. I hope you can see. All right, so all I'm doing is dropping the candle wax onto the little pod here, all around those holes. Now some people will dip these in like heated wax, but the problem with that is the herbs tend to come off. So it takes a while. I usually work with a different candle. I'm just going to show you here. I'm just dropping the wax on there so that it will hold the herb. All right. Catch everything on fire. And so wherever that wax is where I'm sticking the herb. Be careful because it's pokey. So that's a good reason to have these little sticks. They do everything. Okay. Now I'm going to light it again because I want to get a little more wax on there, and then I'll show you so I'm just really letting that wax drip on that herb. I'm only doing one side so that we can get done with this video and you'll figure out what I'm doing here. All right. Just a little bit more. All right. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Put you on pause. Okay, so it's pretty dry right now. It's still a little on the warm side. I turned a different light on because I want you to see this next part. So now, like I said, this is for love, but I used a white candle to get the herbs to stick. And remember I said you're going to do the top first. The reason why is if you put the herbs on the bottom, see how it's hanging right here? They'll just fall out. They just fall off. So you want to do your top half first, and when that dries, then you're going to be able to flip it over and do the bottom part as well. All right, so since this is for love, and love is usually pink, red is more about passion. What I have here is this is a crayon, and it is a pinkish glitter sparkly crayon. I've used it before. Yes, I have. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to leave this down here. Here, maybe I will, let me see if I take it out. You might be able to see it better. Hopefully you can see that better. Let me see. Is that better? All right. So now I'm going to take the crayon because it's pink. So that is the corresponding color, or the color that corresponds with love. And crayons melt. So I'm just going to light it, and I'm going to let it come on, drip. I get wax in there and then it doesn't want to stay lit. So all I'm doing is just lighting the crayon and letting it drip on there to add that color that we want. Okay, and of course I would do pretty much the whole thing, but I think you get the idea. See if I can get it to stay. Oh, perfect. Oh, stay. There we go. All right, let's do a little more so you can kind of see. So when you don't have the right color, you make do with what you do have. So there's the pink. So this whole thing though will be completely covered with wax. I'll finish doing it. I'll do all around, and then when I'm done with that, then I'll flip it over. I'll add more oil into the holes on the bottom. I'll add the rest of the herb on there, and then seal it with the pink. Okay, so then, you know, if you made a couple of these, and if it's for yourself, maybe put one, you know, by your door. Maybe you want to carry one with you. I wouldn't put it by your door, but you know, just put it in your little pocket, and I would put it in a pouch and put it in your pocket, and you know. So again, I mean, it's not pretty, and it's not hard. It's just coming up with what it is you want. Uh, the other really awesome thing that you can do with these, I've only ever done it once because I really don't like to do this. The person wanted one, they had broke up, and they wanted that particular person back. I mean, if the person leaves you, why do you want them back? You know, it's just, anyway, so it wasn't my place, but that's what they wanted, and I said, okay. So we took a little petition paper, you know, the little fortune cookie pieces of paper, about yay big, and I had them write what they wanted, and with that person's name they wanted to, so that's what they did. You take that and you stab it into the witch ball before you add all your stuff. Let's just say you just pierce it. I don't know if this will pierce because that's the parchment paper and it's kind of hard. But you put their name towards the ball on this little, your little petition paper. Put it towards the ball and continue to dress it, and then dress it. So that's what it is. I mean, they're just really fun to do. it's sort of it's really meditating for me to do that. It's very relaxing for me to do them. Um, I have some nice music going, and I just do them. You know, I think it's the flame, it's seeing the fire, does something for me. Again, I normally work with a bigger candle. The chime candles don't last very long. Sorry about that noise if you hear it. It's my husband driving by with a tractor. Um, so these don't work real good. Um, and then again, you know, with the crayon, even if you just add a little bit of color to it with the crayon, it does not want to show you. There we go. Um, it's fun. And again, I didn't have a pink crayon. These were glitter crayons. Bought them at the dollar store. I thought, oh, those are kind of cool. Maybe I'll use those one day. There you go. I used it. So that's it. That's the Witches Burr, Witches Balls. Comes from the sweet gum tree. And you can use them for a number of things. You can dress them many different ways. Again, you can do so many things with them. They're just really fun. Good activity for the children, you know, as long as they're not too little where they're going to get poked. And yeah, so it's really fun. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it today. Talk to you later next week. Bye bye.